Hey guys, and welcome back to Chat and Breeze. Today, actually, I apologise if this irritates your soul and your life for the fact that you're just seeing this little angle. But I tried my best, and I could not set this camera up anywhere else to do what I'm going to be doing today. So I just had to run with it and just irritate my own soul whilst you just see a tiny little square of a picture. Apologies done. And today I'm going to be doing a evening makeup look that I'm super into at the moment. And as much as I appreciate, I'm not a makeup artist, however, like any woman, or like a lot of us, I do enjoy makeup, and it's taken me a long time to kind of get here because I have had many a skin issue. I'm still working on my skin right now. So this makeup tutorial is really as well for girls and women who suffer from scarring, like hyperpigmentation, acne, all that kind of stuff. Because these are the tips and tricks I learned along the way whilst trying to cover everything up. And just, yeah, trying to make yourself feel good really at the end of the day. I personally prefer a kind of quite natural makeup look. Just unless I'm being very specific and I really wanted like a bold eye or something like that. But in regards to kind of skin wise, I just think and feel that when you do suffer from skin issues and stuff, you already have a lot to have to deal with, let alone putting more on top. So contouring and stuff like that becomes, or I found became very, very difficult whilst having acne, because it's kind of taking off the makeup that you've already put on. It then starts to look more cakey and things like that. Now, as you can see, my skin still is not perfect by any means, but it is still a journey. I'm still getting there. And still trying to work on it, just in case anyone wants to know. So I have done a previous video, skin kind of video, and I explained that I cut out dairy to try and get rid of my cystic acne after I came to the point that there was no really more medication I could particularly take to assist, and I really found that helped. However, I still do battle against spots, just normal kind of spots, and hyperpigmentation is a massive issue for me. I am now trying to cut out gluten to see if maybe that works, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm only week 1 of cutting out gluten, and I'm just going to see whether that helps or not. But you'll see obviously kind of the hyperpigmentation and scarring that I still have on my skin. And I obviously would say to anyone, don't pick your spots. However, I also understand if you are like me and everyone says, don't pick your spots, and you're like, it doesn't make a difference. I have left spots alone, and on my life, I honestly can tell you, I have left spots alone. And if they have been quite kind of big ones, they will still leave hyperpigmentation on my skin. I'm no skin expert. I just only know my skin and know kind of the issues that I have with it and what I'm trying to battle against and what I'm trying to deal with. That being said, let's crack on, and hopefully there's something in here that can potentially help someone, because it's hard. It's really hard when you don't have this perfect skin that everyone seems to have, and yeah, and you look on lots of videos and stuff and everyone's just, you know, with their amazing glowy dewy skin, and you're thinking, I can't even recreate this, because that dewy skin look usually is quite oil based, which really doesn't work well for my skin in the slightest, and will really definitely break me out. But I'm going to try and show you what I do to have just a cover kind of clear skin. What I do is to cover scarring. As you can see, I've used it so much. The actual logo and everything has come off, but this has lasted a while. What I do is I check my skin for where the hyperpigmentation is, and I dot this green stuff around it, and I really find that this helps kind of counter the color correction that I'm looking for. I just pop this all around. Now, I kind of feel this is because I always want to be real about everything. I feel this is unfair. I've had to put a ring light because the light right now is so bad. Natural light. I always usually just do natural light for my videos. I don't do kind of big production lights or anything like that. But on this occasion, I really did need a ring light because I needed that extra light for my skin. However, it does make your skin look better than it is. I appreciate that you are going to, this isn't kind of 100%. If you were to see me in real life, you might even look now and you go, what? Like, what's she talking about? Like, her skin isn't that horrific, or her hyperpigmentation isn't that horrific. But it's this light. This light is doing all the work for me, because that's not the truth of what this lighting actually does. And then I use different products from different ranges, but I use the collection, which is a Lasting Perfection color corrector, and I use this just under my eyes. So for anyone who has a little bit of bag situ, which I do, I pop that under there, and then I use just whatever works for you, to be honest with you. If you do have acne prone skin, I always wash my hands. Always wash your hands before you touch your skin, because you don't know how much bacteria your hands are actually carrying. You don't want to put that bacteria on your skin. Always as well, please make sure that you wash your brushes and wash your sponges and stuff, because this can carry a lot of bacteria, which again, all you're doing is then putting that bacteria onto your skin. I know it's a pain in the ass. I know it is, but it just really does help. Anyway, then I'm going to blob, 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 blob. This is the very technical term of smudging my makeup. So I usually do the eye part first, because after I've just done it, because it leaves the green corrector just to soak in a little bit, because otherwise because it's quite liquidy, or it is a liquid. When you dab, if you don't give it a minute to kind of just settle on the skin, you're kind of dabbing it off the hyperpigmentation or the spots or the redness, whatever it is that you're trying to counterbalance with the colouring, obviously. And then I just dab, 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 dab. It almost looks like I have, you know when you are a kid and you might get chicken pox and you have that lotion that your mum puts on your face and your body, and you're literally like lotioned up? Kind of looks like that right now, but I promise this does come together. So you just dab it on top of where you need to colour correct, and as I said, that could well be on your actual redness of the spots, and it could be on the hyperpigmentation. Then I go in with my foundations. These are the two products I'm using at the moment. This one is the collection again. So this is one of them that I use. And I use a dark one because I counterbalance it with this really light one, which is it's collection, but it's the anti-blemish BB cream. There you go. And because this is quite a lot paler, I use the darker one just to counter it, to get a bit better kind of skin colour, or matching the colour of my skin. So you'll see, you just need the tiniest dot of this because it's so dark. That's literally the tiny dot that I use, and I blend in with this. And then I put a lot more of this on. Now what I do is I tend to try and go over. Now it depends how bad your acne is or your skin is. When I was really, really severe, I would have needed a lot more product. I mean, I will put more on, but what I try to do is, as my forehead tends to be an okay area, I get it more around my cheek kind of area. I tend not to put as much product on my forehead. I try to leave that as natural as possible, so I'm not kind of clogging up any more pores there. I know I need it a little bit more around here, and again, I try to be a bit more kind of stingy with it, kind of around the nose and everything. But anyway, I just literally dab the tiniest bit. You only need, I don't even know if the camera's going to pick this up. You only need the tiniest bit, and then you just blob it into the other one. And if you need a bit more, that's fine. Pick it up with either your brush or your finger, whatever it is that you're using. and put it on, but it's easier to go in to add more than it is to take away. You can't really take away the foundation, obviously the color, once it's there. And then you just start applying. Now I bring it up to the eye, I put it around. So what I do is I start with the cheeks, so I start with my problem area, and then the excess I just bring to the forehead, because that's, as I said, not the problem area. I bring that to the nose, because again, not the problem area for me at the moment. And then I do bring it down where the eye is, and I just keep blending it in. Now, like I said, it's really hard because you kind of want to look like you're not wearing a shed load of makeup when you're trying to cover up scarring and acne. And it's a battle because it's a battle to try and get that nice balance of just covering up the scarring and covering up the acne without actually making it look like you're wearing a whole load. And then I just add more in on this side. So just like this. And as I said, I know it's really hard, especially when makeup fashions change and something's really in. So obviously we had contouring, which was massive for years, which is really, I found really hard to do when I had acne. As I said, the products would just move off my skin and it just didn't work. So I would personally suggest, and this is how I got through it, I just realized that, you know what, whilst I'm kind of dealing with this and I'm just trying to look for coverage, the rest would have just been a bonus. All I did was I literally just dealt with covering the skin, and I wasn't looking at all the fashions and dealing with all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so what I also do, if there's any left over, I just tend to focus in and dab on the scarring, because just any extra which is on there on your brush or on your products on, sorry, that didn't even make sense, but basically anything that's left over, just pop on the spots. What I do as well, you don't have to, but just to help, I use a makeup wipe. I don't suggest using this, by the way, to clean your face, but that's just, again, personal preference. But I clean my the rest of the product off the item that I'm using with makeup remover, and then just take it off the skin as well, because I will use this as my palette. Then what I do is I go to my eyebrows. Now I'm slightly going to have to cheat here, because one step I do, so I brush my eyebrows. I don't know. I'm not saying I actually do a do, but you know, yeah, get what I'm coming from. I brush them, and I can't do it right now because I don't have a sink near me. However, if I had a sink near me, I get soap, and don't use coloured soap, so just clear soap that you can get from the supermarket, or you can get from Boots or Superdrug, wherever. And I wet it, and then I use that and this part of the brush that I've just brushed my eyebrows with, and I put it on the soap bar like this, take a bit of the soap off, the residue of it, and then I brush my eyebrows with it. And what that does is it sets the eyebrows, so it sets them up. I do that before I go in with eyebrow powder. Whatever you use, I mean, to each their own, but basically that kind of helps me know where my eyebrows are going to be able just to fill in any gaps. I also say that you literally have a window, and I would say you probably have about a minute to 2 minute window to get your product, your eyebrow product, on your eye before that bad boy sets. Once that bad boy sets, you trying to put product on it, is a nightmare. It almost like it just doesn't go. It just holds to the eyebrows, but it doesn't go in between any of the eyebrows where you're trying to fill. You got to be quick, work quickly. Do not let anyone talk to you. Do not get sidetracked. Nothing. Just make sure that you have all your utensils ready at the ready for when that happens. I just do my quick little test just to make sure that it's all good in the hood and my eyebrows don't look crazy. Number one, I do this test. I don't know if anyone else does this. I just make sure that if I was to do this, do they look even either side? And then I get my brush and I just make sure the base there is even and the top here is even. And if the eyebrows are even, that's good enough for me. I know that they say eyebrows are supposed to be sisters and not twins, and I understand. I get it, but at the same time, I want them to look as sistery as possible. You know how some sisters may not look exactly like one another? And some family members, like some sisters, like you're like, God, you can see your sisters. That's what I want with my eyebrows. I want people to know that they're definitely sisters, but yeah, but may not be twins. That's fine. Okay, and then I'm going to do a very subtle eye today. As I said, this is kind of trying to be a natural makeup look. I just take a really super light, I don't know what color this is, snow. And I put this all on the eye. I almost look like I'm just coloring in and you're thinking, where is her technique? Bear with me, because this is the base. And I know that this is really light and white. I mean, it really is what it says on the tin or the packaging. I can't believe I just laughed at that really bad joke. And yeah, just I use a flat brush for this and I just really go all in the eye. Now the reason why I do this, and this is personal preference, is because I have very small eyes but a big lid. So what I find is that it's really easy for the lid of my eye to look really small and really closed. So I need to use that lighter base to open my eye up a bit. I say this and I feel like I've got something in it now. So this is the reason why I use this white as the base. Now, the thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to spread some magic, because otherwise it does look crazy. It just looks like, wow, she looks like she's from the 80s and she has like crazy white eyes. I take a more of a, what's this called? This is a bone color. As you can see, let me show you the difference. It's a lot more natural. That is so much whiter. I don't know if the camera is picking it up than this. This has got more of a beigey tinge to it. So I just go in with a fluffy brush and then I then put that all around, especially the top of the eye. That's where it's going to look craziest to have a snow colour. Just like this. And I just keep kind of blending it in. Right, another thing as well, I don't know about you ladies, but you spend so much time covering your skin. The last thing that you want, or the last thing that I want, is to have extra that I have to do, is in my eyes are going to take me another hour or 45 minutes. I'd rather spend that time covering my skin than I would doing my face. Doing other parts of my face, should I say. So then I have this Doll 10 palette. Beautiful colours to it, which I find very useful and helpful. And I'm going to, let's go with fluff there. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to do, just as I said, a natural eye, but with a bit of a flare. I'm going to just use this one, which is, what is it, Organza. So I'm using this colour here, Organza, just to put in the crease of the eye. Now it took me quite a while to realise that, you know, for people who have a beautiful eye socket, deep eye socket, obviously they can really do a lot kind of within this section here. However, for us who still have beautiful eyes, but don't have as much to play around with, I find that I can't take all the makeup looks that people with a deeper eye socket do, or more of an eye socket, and replicate it, because it's going to of course look very different on me. So it's just kind of learning maybe what suits you and what you need to do to kind of taper and change for your eye to see what suits your own eye. I have brought that in, so it's just very lightly done. And then just to give a little bit of a kick and flair, I'm going to be using this jelly highlighter we're actually going to use on the eyelid. So what I'm going to do is, I can't even hold this up very well. Actually, I can hold the lid up so you can see here. It's got this like gold tinge kind of thing to it. And I'm just going to dip a brush, which looks like this. That could help a bit more. And I'm just going to dip it in, and I'm just going to put it along the eyelash line, just to give a bit of a flick. So I'm all about using different products for different parts of the face. I don't think you need to stick to one thing. I think that you can make shizzle your own, really. And I think this is just going to give like a cute little different look to when you kind of close the eye, and you got a little shimmer right there. It's really sometimes annoying because the camera doesn't pick up exactly what something looks like in real life, and I'm not trying to over exaggerate so the camera picks it up. I'm trying to leave it how I would and have it natural. For like, so when you see it in real life, it doesn't look too much. I think otherwise sometimes how something plays out on camera is very different to how it plays out in real life. Anyway, so I don't know if you guys can see this. So it's just that bit of gold just there. I'm going to do my eyelashes now. So what I normally do is I take one of these brushes and I just go through the eyelashes with the grooming side, that top side, and I just kind of go through and just separate them, just in case any are clumped together. And I know everyone has their own way of doing things in regards to what order, whether they do eyes, foundation, and whatever else. So to each their own, whatever works for you. When I take my curling irons, I usually put a hairdryer on them, so I heat them up so this part becomes warm. Warm is what I just used there, yeah? Not hot, because you're going to burn your eyelashes off, and I don't want you coming crying to me once you burn your eyelashes off, okay, please? So what I do is I put the hairdryer on it for like a minute or so, not even a minute to be honest with you, on a high heat, warm these up, and if I can't put this on my hand like this, then it's too hot. I'm not going to put it by my eye, okay? So you need to be able to have the temperature that your hand can stand it. And then I just go in at the base of the eye, of course, and just put them together. Now, obviously, I know there's many a lady who loves a fake lash. All for it, all good and dandy. But just it's easier sometimes and quicker, I find, to just do my own eyelashes. So mascara I'm using is the Wonderlash, actually by Primark. This is actually pretty good, to be honest with you. I'll show you what I go through it with afterwards, if I have it. I don't know if I have it here. Anyway, go through the eyelashes just from base to tip. You know the drill. You got the lowdown, and just go through them real quickly. Do. And depending on my eye is whether or not I will flick them more out if I wanted the cat eye, if I was going to do one of those, or if I'm going to do just, I want to open up the eye a bit more to be a bit bolder. Okay, boom, shakalaka, done. Right, so that's that. Then this is what kind of takes a little bit more time. It's the covering of the skin. So obviously I've put my foundation, I've tried to cover them up as much as I can with foundation. But this is what takes more time in regards to covering up the scarring and any blemishes that I have at any one time, because, you know, they just come. You think that you go to bed, you think you're fine, you wake up in the morning, and there it is. Oh, hello. Hello there. Hello, mister. Decided to join the face party, have we? So, highly annoying. I understand and appreciate, ladies. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this concealer under the eye. And I just dot this. Now, I then use a smaller oops. I then use a smaller, why can I not think of the word? What is this? I keep thinking of like a squishy. Oh my gosh. Guys, I still cannot think of the word. I am going to use a smaller one of these. I'm hoping it's going to come back to me. Okay, and I'm just going to dab under the eye. Boom, boom, boom. And I stretch mine out across, so I kind of go all the way out like this. Now, at the moment, my bags aren't horrific. They have been better, but they're not horrific. The days where I am struggling, like really struggling, and I need something a bit more hardcore, I use my Doll 10. Now, I think they've stopped this. So this is quite literally I think I've got one more of these, and that is it. I use this sparingly because I'm so scared of it running out now. Doll 10, what are you doing? Why did you stop this line? Why? Why? This was great. And it's the concealer, and yeah, this was, I used a fair one, and it was just so good. The coverage is so good. You can see I use it, and it has a little mirror as well. But anyway, I shan't use that, and I will have to get over it. But I just dab it just in the base, just here. Actually, let me do this here. And it really gives such great coverage underneath. And if I'm having a really bad acne day, I even use like the excess, and I would just dab it on the skin, because although it's lighter, I'm going to go back over it with the rest of the color correction, so my concealers. So I use it, and it just goes it goes really far. It's such a great product. I'm gutted. I'm actually really gutted that they're leaving this behind and they're not doing it anymore. Doll 10, seriously. Anyway, and obviously normally I do my little clean. The only thing I would suggest is make sure that you have finished using this, because if you try and put it back in and now you've wet it with the makeup remover, it doesn't work too well. So just make sure that you have actually finished before you clean it with it. Anyway, at the moment I am finding these really great. Now I'm sure there is loads of products on the market to be able for concealers and stuff like that, but we don't all have a ridiculous amount of money to be paying on concealers. I mean, I have spent an absolute fortune on makeup products and skin products, but there comes a time that you're just like, okay, like, I'm using this every day. Like, this isn't a once in a while thing, and so I can just splurge and I know it's going to last me a long time. When you're using something every single day, it becomes a lot more expensive to have to replace. So let's just be real and honest about that. So these are the two combos I use. I use the Rimmel Hide the Blemish, and I use the Soft Honey in the Rimmel, and I mix that with Gosh Light, so 003, and I do the two together because I found that I can't find something which goes with my skin tone just using one, so I have to blend the two together. Nothing wrong with it. Now for this, I do use my hands. I use my fingers. So what I would do is I would wash my hands again just to make sure they're all totally clean and clear and have no bacteria on them. And then I use the products. So just letting you know, for this, I think that using your hands is the best because it warms up the product, so you can put it on the skin and you can manipulate it, whereas I found brushes and stuff just don't do the same. So if you do have scarring or acne, I suggest using your fingers. What I do is I go in with the lighter color, I then top it up with the darker color, and I just have that on my finger like this. I use a bit at a time, layer up, and start blobbing on. So what you want to do is you just want to just gently, you want to layer it basically. So you want to just keep tapping on your blemishes or your hyperpigmentation. And what I also do is, if you can't, because it's really difficult to make everything match 100%. So, and obviously what something looks like on camera and what something looks like in real life, two very different things. So I am doing this makeup for real life, not for camera. For camera, I could just be like, yeah, I'm done. Happy days. That's not the case though. So what you want to do is you really want to, when you start dabbing, dab around the area as well. So that's where I initially go. So I dab on it and I dab around it. So you want to just dab and just build up, so everything remains the same color and you don't look like you're a patchwork quilt full of different colors. And go on to the other side, because sometimes as well I find that, remember, if you're using your hands, the heat of your hands, you want everything to blend, you don't want it to melt. See what I mean? So if you change sides, it gives this time side to like almost absorb it and let it settle, let the makeup settle, let the coverage settle. And you can then work on the other side, and it's almost like this is the basis and the base of the whole thing. I mean, obviously your foundation probably would have helped, and I understand as well sometimes you just need to have a look at what foundations give you best coverage, and that can really depend. So I bring it, because I also sometimes get them on my jaw as well. I know, it's hard battling with the not great skin parade. But it's okay, ladies, because no one is perfect, and at the end of the day you just got to make those lemons into lemonade. So alrighty, so we're going to go back to this side and still carry on with the coverage. And what I would do is, I mean, I haven't got any like big cystic acne spots anymore, but I absolutely remember the time that I had it. So you just give yourself a bit of a break as well, so let everything kind of settle. And I know this takes a lot of time, it really does, I appreciate that, but I promise, bear with me, it will be worth it. So let it settle, and then just go back in again and just dab, keep dabbing on the spots, just keep dabbing. It will cover a little bit more, cover it up gradually, change to another spot, let that one settle, go back to it again. Obviously it's a little easier with hyperpigmentation. I mean, it's not when obviously it's really deep and it's very dark initially. You still need to obviously do the work, but it's easier than a spot. And just remember, you're just trying to cover up the redness of the spot. That's what you're trying to do. You cannot make something which is 3D flat. So don't get so hooked up on trying to make your skin look flawless as if you've got no spots and then be disappointed. That's kind of not the aim of the game. The aim of the game is to just make sure that the covering in regards to the redness is covered, which makes you just feel better about yourself. This is pretty much okay. I have covered my hyperpigmentation, aka scarring, and at this point, it really does depend on what you feel best with, what you feel more comfortable with, how you feel your skin is doing. Remember, the more makeup that you're putting on your skin, the more you're not letting it breathe. If you are in the midst of really having to deal with severe cystic acne, I would suggest you just cover and you leave and you step away from it, rather than covering and then trying to do all the rest on top in regards to blusher and highlighter and contour or whatever it is that you want to do. I would suggest just try and cover it and then let the rest of the work, the rest of your face do the work. So maybe you want to accentuate your eyes or your lips or whatever it is. For me, I'm going to just show you if maybe a little bit of scarring or something is still around, and I'm going to put a bit of blusher kind of on to show you how I do it. But what I will do, because I'll be doing my lips very shortly, is I prep my lips with a little bit of like whatever you fancy to make them nice and moist. I'll use a lip protection, so I actually use this. It works just as well as any kind of lip thing, and it gives it protection against the sun because it's got SPF in it. Anywho, for myself, what I will use is, this is going to be quite a light look, but just with a bit of, as I said, we want that kind of that nice evening non-makeup but still glamorous look. I'm going to just take a bit of this Bronze Glow. Now, I still have to be careful with this, because what this can do when I start putting a powder on top of what I have, it can sometimes then bring out all the blemishes that I've just covered up. It really does depend, and I have to weigh up whether it's worth it or not and how my skin is doing. I don't go in and have setting powder on my face because it really clogs up my pores and it makes my makeup then look very cloggy over the night. Maybe if you have tighter pores or something, I don't know, but I just think that if you have a bit more open pores, it can make it just look a bit kind of clumpy and not as smooth. So I don't do that. Again, just trial and error will let you know what's best for your skin type and what it is that you need to do. So I just use a bit, I tap the excess off, and then I go kind of along my cheekbones here, like where I'm smiling. And I do this very lightly to not take off what I've already just put on. I will have to touch up, I know this, but I just kind of go like this, just very gently. There we go. And around the other side. And as you see, I did have I've got like a blemish or a hyperpigmentation right on the cheek. So right on where I'm kind of smiling at the moment. So I know that this is going to take it off. So I just try to be as light and careful as possible that I don't take too much of it off. And this is where you need your different color, I think, makeup cover sticks, because when you put extra makeup on top which is a different color, you might need to change it up. And then I am going to use the Bare Minerals Advanced Clear and Radiance, and I'm just going to, and again, remember, if you're using something which is going to shimmer, it's going to attract the light. So if you have really bad like spots currently, don't put the shimmer exactly where your spots are, because you're just attracting people's attention to where that is. So you want to just make sure that if this is if that's where you're at really in where your skin is, I would suggest probably don't put highlighter on there. If you want to put a little bit on your nose and whatever else, fine, but I wouldn't put it right where you have like a big spot. Like if you have a big spot here, don't then put the highlighter on, because it really is going to draw more attention to it. I would just skip that step if I was you. Now what I do is I just have the excess, which is on the lid, and I just go just where my cheekbones are, to give myself that dewy, gooey, whatever look. And up we go. And just a little bit here, just with the excess, I will just add on. And as I said, if you want to just do a little bit down the nose, that's fine. But I haven't, you know, contoured my nose or anything. I've just left it be. If you have removed your concealer off of your face, never fear, you can go back in. Because I put this darker bronze glow here, and this is where I have my blemish, I will go in just purely with the darker shade of concealer. I won't use the light shade because now I've kind of changed the color. I want everything to match, as always. So again, just a little bit on the finger. Now be very, very, very gentle. You don't want to now take off the makeup that you've just put on, and then you're going to have to do it all again and fill it all in and whatever else. Just gently put it back on where it potentially, or where it came off, because you just want it to look all very au natural. So that is then that one done. I'm just gonna go in my lips. So this is just a taupe color lip pencil. I don't know where I got this one from. Okay, anyway, we're gonna go in. So let's go over on the lips. And like I say, if you do have, or if you're conscious of your skin, if you feel like your skin isn't exactly how you would want, or you know, whatever else, then draw the attention away from the skin by maybe having emphasis on the lips or the eyes or whatever it is. So it makes people focus more kind of on that than anything else. So that's the lip liner, and then I'm going to go in with this Jolie Rouge Raspberry 07. I do like this lipstick. This is the job now. I'm coming up close, guys, so you can actually see. This is the end result. So guys, if you don't have the best skin in the world and you're not able to, you know, walk around with no makeup but makeup look type thing, but you know, you want to feel good and you want to still wear makeup, of course, it can be done. Just bear with yourself, be kind to yourself, be gracious with yourself, realize that this isn't going to be forever. And I know I used to hate it when people would say this. I know I'm still on my skin journey, so by no means am I sitting here going, my skin's perfect and don't worry about it. Like, that's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I understand the pain that it literally can cause, like, and the lack of confidence. But all I'm trying to say is that you can still, you know, go out, still wear makeup, all that kind of good stuff. Just really be gentle with your skin, be gentle with yourself, and just take the time. So it does take a lot longer to get ready. I know that, because you need to go over your skin a lot more than maybe other people who don't have the same skin issues, but that's okay. And figure out what works for you, and just realize that you're still going to be amazing, you're still going to be beautiful, you're still going to look absolutely 100 no matter what. Alright guys, I hope this has helped. If you would want me to do any other makeup looks, do let me know, especially if you do have acne prone skin or any skin issues that you kind of are wondering of how to get around, or anything like that. Let me know. I promise you I've had years of experience with it. I have tried probably every single thing out there, and I will of course endeavor to help. Alright guys, until next week, I'll speak to you later. Bye.